got us down here. While the lunch is getting prepared, we'll just get our program started here from the Hardrocker coaches. So thanks for coming out, great crowd. Good to see everybody. We will start with Hardrocker volleyball update. The volleyball program was at home the last couple weeks and now getting set to get back out on the road. Welcome up head coach Doug Tabbert.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Give you a little rundown. This past weekend, we had Western State on Friday and then Colorado Mesa on Saturday. Western's kind of an interesting story. A couple years ago, they were horrible. We played them in a tournament 2 years ago, and they were about as bad as you see in Division II. I think they won 2 matches that year, and it was just, they really had some issues. And then if you look at it now, they turned it around a little bit. They started 4 seniors and a junior, and they really made progress with their program, and it's kind of some incentive for us to do the same thing. So played all right for the first couple sets. They really just kind of overpowered us offensively. They had some hitters that got pretty hot, and we couldn't match their firepower on Friday night. Just had a hard time holding them back, and then the third set we really tumbled in the third set. So we felt competitive for a while. Other than that, we just couldn't slow some good hitters down enough, and then we really tumbled in the third. And then Saturday, Colorado Mesa, nationally ranked, having a pretty good beat Colorado Mines last weekend, so that's a good win for them. And they got a lot of tradition in that program. And probably what hurt us the most is they got beaten 5 the night before in BH, so they had a little more incentive to play well on Saturday. If you're at the match, they had coming in the match, they had 2 really good players that have been their best offensive players. They've got an outside who has been really good for them, and she was the key for us. And they've got a senior right side out of Brazil, who's a really good player, big arm. And those 2 have been really important players from offensively. And so we knew going in, we had to do a good job against those 2. We didn't want any chance at all. And the first 2 sets we played pretty well. Pretty competitive the first set, lost it relatively close. If you were there in the second set, we played about as good as we played in a long time, right up till the end. And then we just couldn't close it. Had a big lead late, and just couldn't finish it. Got a little tight when they made a little run to the end. I think our youth and inexperience kind of caught up to us there. But we really were rolling for a while in that second set. And then the third set happened, and it was just a complete flip of the first 2. We just need to stop playing third sets so we figured out this. We've been playing pretty decent recently, and then we go into that intermission, that 8-minute intermission, and something happens to us, and we just had to figure out how to play the third set well, because we really collapsed lately in that. We're going to try some different things this weekend and see if we can turn that around a little bit. But did a really nice job against their best hitter, held it to 0.77 from the match, felt really good about that. Did a pretty good job against the Brazilian for the first 2 sets, and she kind of caught fire in the third and made her numbers look pretty good. But it's another learning experience for us to be in a match and play as well as we played, and not close an opportunity out. And we got to learn how to play better in the third set and against good teams. So some good things, and then also some things that expose us a little bit. I think we got to get better at with our experience and youth. This weekend, head to Denver, Colorado Springs. We've got Metro State on Friday. They're also nationally ranked, very good program, a lot of tradition there. We'll get a look at it. We're waiting for a video breakdown to come in today, and we'll scout them pretty well. But they'll be a challenge. They're a good team to get nationally ranked. They also beat Colorado Mines last weekend, so they've got some momentum going, and we'll have to play well. And then Saturday, UCCS in Springs. They're not in the top tier of the RMAC, but they're that next tier, playing pretty well. Got a pretty good season going, so they'll be a challenge too. We'll have to play well there as well. So, but we're hanging in pretty well. I think our kids, we've had some up and downs for sure, and we have some days of practice that are not as good as others. But I think we're hanging in, and I don't think we've given up yet. So we'll go down there and play as well as we can, and hope for a good result. Injury update: Emily Newton, who went down a couple weeks ago at the BH match. I really didn't think we'd get her back. I didn't think we'd see her again, and she's made tremendous progress in the last week or so. We won't have her this weekend, maybe next weekend, but we think we may have her for BH and BCCS at our place to finish the season, which is really encouraging because a week ago I would have thought there was no chance she's going to play again. And then Allie Boggs, who's our freshman setter, missed most of last week and didn't practice yesterday. She's kind of day by day. Don't know if we'll have her this weekend or not. We should have her after this weekend if we don't get her this weekend. So we can certainly use those two back on the floor for us. But we'll see how that goes. So road trip this weekend. A couple pretty good teams to test us, and we'll hope we rise to the challenge and play well against them. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach. The coaches don't really know their order today, so I know that, they're all about schedules, all about order, so this is kind of throwing them off. Soccer head coach, we'll do that next. Welcome up head coach Jordan Kadlec.
Yeah, Wednesday we had Regis, who is, I think they're ranked 9th now. They got 2 wins over the week. So honestly, the first 10 minutes of that game, we looked the best we have all year. I think we put 2 or 3 shots on goal, had 2 or 3 corners, and really had them on their back foot. I don't think they were expecting us to put that much pressure on them. However, 2 minutes later, in the 12th minute, they scored a goal. So for us to have momentum for the first 10 minutes and to give up a goal in the 12th minute of the game kind of deflated our sails there. And then I think in the 26th minute they scored their second goal. And the most disappointing thing about those 2 goals was it was exactly from my scouting report. They're going to serve balls into the box and try to find their guy who's 6'5", 6'6", and that's exactly how they scored both their goals. So that was disappointing from that standpoint. But for the rest of the game, really, I thought it was pretty even, and we actually played pretty well. So Friday we played Power State Pueblo for the first time this year, and you can really tell that it was our 4th game in 7 days. I mean, our guys were extremely tired, we were very slow, very fatigued, and we ended up going down. We gave a goal in the 6th minute, which we hadn't done in a while. Was giving a goal that early, so that didn't really do us well. And then we ended up giving a goal in the penalty in the second half, and another goal in the 76th minute. We didn't score our first goal until the 82nd minute and then the 86th minute. So by that time it was 3-2, and I think our coach was freaking out a little bit, but we ended up not being able to win away. So this weekend we have Westminster at 6 o'clock on Friday out at Sioux Park. We're doing our scouting report on them as we speak. And that night we're going to honor our 4 seniors. That's going to be Andres Scow, David Cabrera, Thomas Stasiak, and Eric Fensky. Those guys have really been, they're technically our 3rd class that we're going to graduate, but they're really the first big class that we're going to graduate. Our first big group of alumni. So we're going to honor them on Friday. And then on Sunday we play Colorado Mesa again for the 2nd time. They are now nationally ranked. They're leading our conference. So hopefully we can learn that and have them dominate the conference. So any questions about that this weekend, last week? Yeah. To be honest, they put in their reserves. And one of my pet peeves with teams, when they get up that much, they put in their backup goalkeeper. I don't like that. I wouldn't do it. But they actually did that, and they put in a ton of reserves. We scored 2 goals, and here comes a huge line change. In the 86th minute, they put all their starters back in, and we couldn't find them in the last 3 minutes. I mean, credit goes to our guys for not giving up, but we can't go down 3-0 and think we're going to get a result. Anything else? Thanks.
All right, Hardrocker Cross Country went to the RMAC Championships in Spearfish. Tell us about the results and the success. Welcome up Steve Johnson.
All right. Well, if you were hoping for a report on another edition of Bloodsport, I don't have that. Sorry. As conference cross country went, it was relatively tame. There wasn't a lot of pushing and shoving, although I did see a few good elbows, and I know I got a couple of reports from our kids about a couple of times where they were having to overcome a little bit of that. But overall, it was a busy day. On the men's side, Colorado Mines won the championship. They went 2-2-6 for a total of 20 points, which is almost a perfect score. Perfect score is 15 points. The only spot they lost, obviously, there was at first place, which was taken by Adams State's Sydney Kinbude. And Adams won the women's side as well, with 4 runners in the top 10, and their number 5 was actually 12. Jenna Thurman was the individual champion there. Adams basically went out with those top 2 runners. They basically just played the hunter the entire time. So what I mean by that is they basically just sat within striking distance, within about 10-15 meters the entire time, and let a runner from Colorado Mines go out and lead the race. He worked his tail off. Western State runner did the same thing. She worked her tail off through the entire race. Then half a mile to go. There's a big downhill. They just come charging hard down the hill, and all of a sudden they're winning it by 50 meters. But that's the difference between Adams State and the rest of us. They've got that depth, they've got that ability to go out and do that because they're not worrying about whether or not they win a conference championship. They're worrying about a national championship. Our men this year finished 13th. Last year we were 14th, so we got to move up a spot, which was good. We had a strong pack time. We were 98 seconds, which is probably the best pack time we've had all year. Pack time is the difference from our first to our 5th runner. And so that's a really encouraging sign going into the regional meet here in a couple weeks that we're getting that much closer. We've got to improve our 4 or 5 guys a little bit, but I think that'll come. We struggled through the second half of the race a little bit. The course had a couple of hills in the second. It was a 4-lap course for the guys, and the second kilometer every lap had a couple of good hills in it. And the first couple of times through, it's not too bad. Then it starts to wear on you a little bit, and our guys kind of succumbed a little bit to it. But we did have some real positives out of it. Jacob Huber, our guy who's been running number 1 for us all year, was a little bit simple in the meet, but he still ran well. He actually improved 21 spots over his finish from last year. So that was a pretty big improvement for him. That gives him the 2nd highest finish we've ever had on the men's side. So we expect to see him, and he missed the highest finish by just 1 spot. So we're hoping to see him when he's healthy come out and improve that much more at the regional meet. We've got an opportunity. We're real close to a couple of teams, in particular Colorado Christian. So we're really hoping that with Jacob coming back stronger, and we had Ashton and Chase who've been working back from injuries, that now that they're getting to the point that they're back out where we want them, that's really going to make a big difference for us, and we can knock off at least 1 more team from the region, from the conference at the regional meet. On the women's side, we were 10th. So we finally met that goal of cracking the top 10. And that's a big step for us. The disappointing thing, and our girls were really, really upset by this. They felt like they were really fatigued through the entire race. And we missed 8th place by 28 points. So we figured that we missed 8th place by basically 10% of our score. We needed to improve by about 5 to 6 spots a person. That for them was really hard because they know that they can beat them. What I had to remind them is that our goal isn't necessarily how do we perform at the conference. Yeah, we want to do well. And getting to the top 10 is a big step. But where we need to perform well is we need to perform well in the region. Because if we can take out those 2 teams at the region meet, that gives us a chance at the top 10 spot in the region. And that does something that we've never done in this region, and that's be a top 10 team. And that's something that we can build on for next year because we only graduated 1 person this year. Everybody's coming back next year, so we have an opportunity to go that much further. We did have another first. We had Addie finish 20th overall, which gave her an all-conference nod for her second team all-conference. She was a little disappointed because she found out that if she'd been in the top 14 in the first team, she would have got a medal. But that's kind of the way these guys like things like medals and t-shirts, so I got to find more races with those to kind of prod them along. On the women's side, we had 5 of them with their best finishes ever in the Army. Addie moved up 14 spots. Carrie moved up 7 spots, and this is over their best finishes ever, so over 3 years in the Army. Riley moved up 12 spots just over last year. Riley was 63rd, I believe, this year. She was 108th as a freshman. So she had a huge jump over the last couple of years. Erica Westerman out of Yankton finished moving up 11 spots. Rachel Lovelace finished moving up 15 spots. Overall, we had 6 that improved over the 2015 finishes. So, all things considered, you know, we went in, we wanted to be top 10. We got that. We went in wanting to have a good day, and they were feeling a little bit fatigued. But you know what? If you're feeling fatigued and you still finish in the top 10 in the Army, that's still a pretty good day. Especially when the race we really have to perform well at is against women. So we're pretty satisfied with what we got done, but we know that there's room for some improvement, and the girls are hungry, the guys are hungry, they want to get it. So we're gonna try and bring that back in 2 weeks and see if we can do a little bit better. The region is down in Denver. It's going to be at Washington Park on Saturday, November 5th. I lose 1 guy and 1 girl. So we actually are sitting really good from that standpoint. We've got a good core that we can grow and build for a little while.
Because you don't run again for 2 weeks, how do you trace that? Do you take any time off? How does that work?
Well, we're kind of at the point in the season where we need to start getting our legs back. So now it's about making sure that they come out of every workout feeling good about what they got done. This is that point where you can talk about getting that juice going. We got to bring the juice in. So we got to get these guys feeling really good about where they're at, feeling comfortable with where they're at. So everything is about trying. So we're backing down the volume finally, and that's something that we haven't pushed the volume this long into a season ever before. So for them to feel a little bit dead, I was kind of expecting a little bit of fatigue. It was probably a little more than I thought we would have, but that still gives us a good opportunity to now, because we can get our legs back and we can look at this and say, hey, look what you did when you're tired. Look what you did when you didn't think you could get up that hill that last time. Now we're going to a flat course. We're going to a much easier course as far as the difficulty level. Sure, there's some altitude, but you know what? We live in Black Hills. So we've already been higher in our workouts than what we'll see them. So now it's just about mindset. Other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Nice to know. Before I invite Coach Tinker up here, Hardrock football is 5-3, and I want to tell you about the great day we had on Saturday partnering with Northwestern Mutual and Alex's Lemonade Stand for the special custom jerseys that the Hardrockers wore, trying to benefit a great cause, and we really did. So when we crunch all the numbers, total contributions to that fundraiser is going to be over $18,000. So that was a big deal, no question about it, kind of the cause on Saturday. I want to point that out, so I appreciate Matt Mark and Northwestern Mutual being a big part of it. Matt's not here, but we appreciate that. Welcome up, head coach Zach Tinker, to talk about Chadron State in the week to come.
Thanks for coming out today. Awesome morning this morning if you were out of practice today. We're excited that we're still getting some great weather. This past week reminded me of, I think it was April 2013. It was our second spring. And we had a bona fide snowstorm in the middle of spring practice, 12, 18 inches. And It was so bad that Chadron State contacted us and said, hey, we can't practice. Can we come up to your field and practice? And so our men had been shoveling the field of snow, and we had gotten 50 yards clear. And Chadron State came up for 2 practices. And this would have been our second spring with Coach Collins. And they came up and practiced, and we looked at that football team, and then we looked at our football team, and we looked at their team again, and we didn't match up. And we knew that. And we said, whoa, that's a good Division II football program right there. And that's where we need to get to. And then to come out Saturday, just a few years later, all the hard work of Coach Collins and what he did to build this program, all the contributions from everybody that is committed to this program, and where we were Saturday to be able to go out there and compete with that team, and there was not one position where we didn't feel like we had a good matchup and we could compete. That's a lot of progress for our team, which was why it was so heartbreaking to lose the game the way we did on Saturday. That was as tough a loss as we've been through. We have a couple coaches' wives here today, and the only people taking it worse than the coaches are the coaches' wives right now, because I don't think any member of our staff has slept in the last 72 hours. It's just it's a tough loss. When you play that hard, our kids played so hard. We didn't play that great in some key areas, but boy, we played with great intensity, great fire, great energy. The crowd was outstanding. The uniforms were awesome. Everybody was fired up. And so it was a very difficult loss for us in terms of result. We did have some outstanding individual performances. Our offensive player of the week is Robert Strachey. He's our offensive center. I do anticipate that Robert will be recognized by the RMAC as one of the premier offensive linemen in the league. He's just a sophomore, metallurgical engineer out of Mesa, Arizona. What a stud. Our defensive player of the week, rocker dog, is Michael Harlan out of Scottsdale, Arizona. He's a mechanical engineer. What a stud. I'm sorry, I said mechanical. He's a chemical engineer. I apologize. And he had an outstanding game on the defensive line. Played really hard. He's number 18. Plays really, really hard. Our special teams player of the week is number 3, Kevin Mills. And Kevin has had an outstanding season. He's a civil engineer out of San Diego, California. He is a senior, and he had a couple of big plays on special teams. Great game by him. And then Rafael Arellano, number 22. He was our player of the week in terms of our theme of the week last week, our attitude theme of the week. And Rafael was just fantastic again, as he always is on defense. So some guys just with some really great performances, despite the fact that we didn't get the result we were all looking for on Saturday. And I think we don't lose a lot of close games here. And so losing that game was a real, you should have seen that locker room afterwards. You had some kids that were absolutely torn apart by that loss. And so when you see them on campus this week, they do need your encouragement, because that broke them up a little bit, because they put everything they had onto the field on Saturday. We just get the result that we were looking for. This week we've got Fort Lewis College coming to town. Fort Lewis is just coming off of a huge win this past weekend, and I believe it's going to be a very similar fight to what we were in this past weekend. They're outstanding at running the football. They run the true pistol offense. So what Chris Holt developed at the University of Nevada, they run the pistol offense, and so it's an exciting brand of football that way. They're going to try to be physical with us. Certainly we're going to try to match that physicality with what we do. And then defensively, they're playing some really good defense now. They've had some really good games. They're playing primarily a 4-man front defense. A lot of that zone coverage principles, but it'll be an exciting challenge for us as we get an opportunity to have something here, which doesn't happen every year, which we have a chance at a winning season if we can get this win on Saturday, which is what we're trying to achieve here with the program. So that's a little bit of where we were and where we're going. Are there any questions from the masses that anybody has about last week or this coming week? Everybody's hungry. Tom just asked, how do you prepare the team after such a hard loss? You know, what college football teams do, Tom, is you play and then you win or lose, and then you get up and you play again. That's what we do. So that's part of the DNA that we've created with our football program. Our theme of the week this week is love, L-O-V-E. So we had some hugs yesterday, and we rededicated ourselves to our program a little bit. And that's a big part of our program, is the players demonstrating their love for one another. We have 20 seniors that have been through more maybe than any senior class that I've ever been associated with at any school, in terms of schedule changes, 2 different conferences, being independent, a coaching change, all the things that those seniors have been through. the love they have for this program and the commitment they've made, the other individuals in the program recognize it, and they are passionate about helping these young men finish these last 3 games on top, because we have a chance at a very, very special season here. If we could get a 6th win, that's a winning season, and to do that on really the only time we've ever played 11 Division II games in a year, that'd be phenomenal. What else? Yeah. The question, how's Jake Sullivan? I think he's doing okay. He was heartbroken. I mean, we played so hard. I think when you're a coach and you see your team play that hard and you don't win, you feel like it's your responsibility as a coach. That's the bottom line, you know. And as a quarterback, he felt like it was his responsibility, because that's what quarterbacks do, you know. So he was devastated, you know, but he's fired up. He was throwing the ball around today. He looked really sharp this morning, you know. He looks great every morning, to be honest with you. He looks better than most of the guys on the team do every morning, but that's genetics. But he was fired up and ready to go today. He had a great morning. But as always, you're always extra motivated a little bit after a disappointing loss. And I think our team is focused, not that we weren't focused before, but anxious to prove ourselves again. One more question was over here. Yeah, Tom. What did we see on film? What? Take the emotion out of the equation. We talked about the winning formula. Number 1, play physical. We stopped the run. That's what we did, designed our thing to do. And we ran the football great. Physicality was there. Okay. The next thing we talk about is own the football. Okay. And that is, don't give the football away to the other team and take it away. And that was obviously the most critical errors we had. I counted 6 turnovers for us, okay? Which is, you're going to lose. And to be in a game that you turn the ball over that many times is actually kind of stunning. So that's how well we were playing in the other areas. And we didn't take away in the second half. And then I thought, really, if you looked at it, it was like the third downs for us defensively, where we've been phenomenal all year. We weren't as good at third downs this on Saturday against the pass as we have been all season long. And so those were some critical plays. So it was turning the football over and then not making a couple of key third down stops. If you really look at it, it's not that complicated. That's really what it came down to. Everybody get fired up now. I need a little more juice for this luncheon. Okay, I need you guys to fire up. Enjoy what you got at Buffalo Wild Wings. Again, I'd like to thank Northwestern Mutual for an unbelievable job in terms of putting that fundraiser together. I hope you guys got your jerseys. If you didn't take up all those issues with Joel Lucan, he's excited to help you try to find another jersey. I'm kidding. Okay. But it was a great event. We hope to do something again like that. The last piece is we're getting really excited for these opportunities of these the things that are growing in the program. And I just encourage you to continue to do what you can to help us grow this program the way we're growing it, because it's going in the right direction. We're excited to show our product to you on Saturday. Rock on. Thanks, Joe.
They just need a little food, Coach. That's why they're low on juice here. We're trying to get food. Lunch is on the way. Lunch is on the way. So enjoy your lunch. Be sure to tip your waitress as well. Be sure to tip your waitress as well. Busy week this week. Friday, Sunday, soccer at home. It's family weekend, so a lot of the School of Mines student body, their families are coming to join us. We'll have a nice gathering for the football game on Saturday. Even basketball is getting ready to go with alumni coming back as well this weekend for a little alumni game on Saturday morning. So busy week, and look forward to having you join us on Saturday. I want to remind you, it's trunk or treat, so it's Halloween weekend. All the young kids, if you come in your costume, you get in free. Bring your candy if you have ramp spots, so bring candy, and the kids are going to trunk or treat through the ramps. Bring plenty of candy. My daughters eat a lot of it, so they really want you to bring a lot of candy. So that should be a fun one. On Saturday, we'll start at about 11:30. Thanks for coming. Food is on the way. Enjoy your week. Thank you.